Okay, quick update. I am no longer playing Indiana Jones. I beat Indiana Jones, and I beat Neo, the original Neo, which is right here. Ended up giving it a. Sorry, I need to speak slower. A lot of my words jumble together when I watch these videos back. But I gave Neo a 3.5. I think it was fine overall. It didn't take me too long to beat it, but what I remember being so great about Neo 2, it was the way that they implemented skills a lot more into your weapons. Whereas in this, it's just hold block and press an attack button, and you do one move. And it's a little more complex than that in some instances. But also, the parry system in Neo 2 is awesome. The huge parries that have great payoff, but huge risk as well. And yeah, I felt myself, I was super under leveled going through this game because it wants you to do all the side content, but I was in a hurry. So I just speed ran the game. And it got annoying towards the end because you just get one shot by everything. So you have to play perfect almost. But your gear matters a lot more than your level does in this game. But still, it was a fun time. I had fun with it. I'm not in a hurry to go back to Neo 2. Probably, maybe this year I'll play it again. Revisit one of my favorites. But yeah, that was Neo 1. And then I also beat Indiana Jones probably like 2 hours ago. I beat this, and yeah, biggest surprise of 2024. I don't think anyone expected this game to be good. Really cool story, which I did not expect. These days when you get a story in a video game, it's either too simple or it's trying to be too much. This one's perfect. You are kind of just going through the motions, but the characters are really great, and it all comes together in the end where the story really takes a cool twist. But yeah, awesome game. I did end up kind of going through the main quest only. I didn't do any of the side content, but there's plenty of it in this game. But yeah, fantastic game. But back to a little spoiler. Okay, R's, we'll get through the S's, and there's a lot of S's. But yeah, we'll probably just do this page for this video. Maybe some more if I get through it quickly, which I may. So Remnant 1 and 2. I don't like these games. I've tried them. I don't know why I gave this one a 3.5 and this one a 3. Remnant 2 is better. It's not a 3. But could I say it's a 4? Not really. The first one's a 3. I'll do that. I got them switched for some reason, but I played Remnant 1 because I had it in my Steam library, and I wanted to have an excuse to use the Steam Deck. So I played it on Steam Deck for a bit, and then I played it on PC, and I just couldn't get into it. So then I'm like, okay, but I've heard so many great things about Remnant 2. And it is better, but dude, like maybe this game is meant to be a co-op game because I played it solo and it's just so boring. Like, it's not super hard. I didn't think it was hard. And in case you don't know about Remnant, it's just Dark Souls with guns. It's a third-person shooter that has the Dark Souls formula. And sure, there are some really cool builds, and this game has great imagery. There's some really cool, what would you call it? It's pretty to look at in a lot of cases. But besides that, dude, I was bored playing this. 3.5 is lower than I thought it'd be. I thought people really liked this game, but that's exactly what I gave it. But it's fine. If you like it though, you have so much content. So that's the ups for Remnant, but me personally, and this one was just super boring because it was just simpler, a much more simple version of Remnant 2. And both these games are linear. I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Okay, Resident Evils. I've technically not played this one, the remake. I've not played this one, so I need to get rid of it. I don't know why I have it. Probably because I had the mint to put director's cut. Perfect, right here. So we'll go in order. The first one I ever played, if you are wondering, I played the demo of 5 and 6, but Resident Evil 7 was the first one I played. But director's cut, played this I think 2 years ago on PS5. They came out with a PS5 version, like an emulator version, and dude, this game's great. This game holds up. I had a great time. I went through it super quick, probably like 2 days. I beat it. It's not super scary, but oh, what is it? Like the basement music or the kitchen music? Dude, it's like a scary ass soundtrack, and apparently one of the soundtracks sucks. I don't know which one, but don't sleep on Resident Evil, the original. I haven't played the remaster, or the remake, I should say, because it does change some things. But, and then there's the awful voice acting, of course, but still a very fun game. And then 2 and 3, I've not played the originals on PlayStation 1. I do want to at some point, but they're a little expensive. I think they're about $40 a piece. They're even more expensive on GameCube. But I played the remakes. I did play 2, like standard, on PC years ago, probably close to launch. But about a year and a half ago, I played 2, 3, 7, and 8 in VR. There's a VR mod on PC for these games, and it is some of the most fun you can have in VR are the Resident Evil games. And some dude, Praydog, I think his name is, he has like a custom mod to the engine, the RE engine, that makes it possible. And 7 and 8 have VR versions on PlayStation, but I mean, it just runs better on PC. I think the Village version, Village on PlayStation has some added functionality, but besides that, I mean, they were so much fun. But okay, so 2, I think 2's probably one of the best survival horror games that have come out ever. It was so much fun. 3 was still really fun, but the second half, I thought it was going to take place in, I think it takes place in like Raccoon City. I don't know which city this is. I'm not a lore guide, but I was hoping it would take place here because this is the best part of the game, is the first 2 hours. But no, you go into like the sewers, and I forget, you go to like their laboratory at some point. But it just got so much worse after that. Whereas 2 takes place, the first half is in the police station, which is so awesome. It's such an awesome area. But the puzzles, I don't remember the puzzles that much. Combat's great. The horror is effective in these 2 games, or in this game especially. Resident Evil 4, I've actually only played the VR version on Quest, on the Oculus, and it's awesome. It is fantastic. It's the only way I've experienced Resident Evil 4. I would wish that, who makes these games? I forgot. Who makes the Resident Evil? Is it Capcom? Yeah, Capcom. I wish they would stop remastering and remaking games, just make a new one. But this is the wave right now. It's just remakes. So we're kind of stuck with them. But yeah, Resident Evil 4, super, super fun VR game. Definitely a top 5 or top 10 game you can play in VR. Resident Evil 5, I played on PS3 2 years ago after playing 1. Because I went 1, 2, 3. I'd already played 4 before I did this. And then I started 5, got, I think, a third of the way through it, and then just kind of put it down. It's fine. I'm sure it's a lot of fun in co-op, but didn't really stick with me. I gave it a 3. That's fair, probably. I kind of want to go back and beat it, because all I have is 5 and 6 left. So maybe one day. Resident Evil 7. So people kind of... Okay, I'm surprised it's only 4. This game gets glazed a lot. And don't get me wrong, the first half of this game is incredible. But dude, as soon as you make it out of the mom's dungeon, quote unquote, the game falls off so hard. Oh my god, this game is awful in the second half. But the first half is the best that Resident Evil has to offer. The absolute best. Or Resident Evil Village has the exact same story. The exact same story. And I'm surprised it's as close to 7 as it is. But these games in VR, even if it is an action game, the second half, it's a fun action game because it's in VR. But Castle Demistro is fantastic in Village. And then everything after that, you know, Heisenberg's area is pretty cool. I think Village is more consistent overall. But 7, dude, the house and the mom's shack, so good. And then, yeah, and then Village, same story. Demistro, the very first Village. And then Heisenberg's is also really good. I think I do enjoy Village more overall. And I think I did at the time. So, yep, that's Resident Evil's. There are plenty I have not played, and I don't even think I want to. Like, I may play 4 VR. I may get it on Steam. I think there already is a VR mod for Resident Evil 4. But Resident Evil 6, I'll play eventually. 0, I want to play. Veronica, I want to play. But I'm in no rush. 0 rush. And I also have, I think it's a Wii game? Yeah, I have the Umbrella Chronicles. It's oh god, what would you call it? Light gun. Like a light gun shooter. But yeah, 0. Apparently Gaiden. I watched Ray Narvaez play this. It looks fun, to put it gently. But yep, that's Resident Evil. Returnal. 4? Maybe a little low. It's between a 4 and a 4.5. This is one of the earlier games I played on the PS5. I think I played this right after Demon Souls, and I enjoyed this infinitely more than Demon Souls, the remake. But I remember, I think I got pretty lucky because I beat this on, I think, my 3rd or 4th run. But the game looks fantastic. I was worried going into this because I had been on PC for a while at this point, and having to do any kind of shooting, like Twitch shooters where accuracy is pretty important. I was worried about it going back to a controller, but this game actually does handle really well. So yeah, it's a roguelike, and it has a really cool story. The bosses are cool. It's like a bullet hell almost. Even in the arenas, when you're fighting standard enemies, it's bullet hell, but the bosses especially are really cool. This game has a beautiful art style. It is a joy to look at this game. But yeah, also just a really, really fun game overall. Would I bump it to a 4 or 5? Maybe on a repeat. I do own it physically, I think. I would not be opposed to going back to this game, and I will at some point. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. This is another VR game. I believe this, yeah, PS2 and Xbox was the original release for consoles. But I played this in VR. Super simple game. I mean, a 3.5, this is a little unfair. I didn't play it for that long. I kind of fell out of it because I was in a big VR kick when I played this. It seems fine. Seems pretty simple, but I know this game is loved by many for its multiplayer. This game apparently had fantastic multiplayer. I wonder if anyone... Stealth? I don't know if is there stealth in this game? I don't think there is, but yeah, whatever. Pretty fun. RimWorld. Oh my god, dude. RimWorld, if you don't know about RimWorld, I think it's one of, like, Steam most highly reviewed games. I think it's like top 5. Wow, Stardew is number 1. According to gamer reviews. Damn, it's not even top 10? Where is it? Oh, it's 11. But how many reviews does it have? Like 200,000, sitting at a 98%. I mean, Stardew has 800,000, it's sitting at 98. Portal 2 at 99. Again, objectively one of the best games of all time. This is kind of crazy. I do not like Terraria. But RimWorld. This game, if there's the question, if you had 3 games on a deserted island you'd have to play, and you have no idea how long you'd have. You assume it's like years or for the rest of your life. RimWorld is not a bad choice. It is a colony simulator where you build a colony, and the procedural events that happen are so dynamic. There are so many stories that you'll hear people tell of their worlds in RimWorld, of just the craziest situations, kind of like Dwarf Fortress a little bit, but it's definitely more pleasing to look at. It's a little easier to control. I played it myself probably 6-7 hours, but dude, I've watched so many videos on this game. Awesome game. If you're looking to get like just sucked in to a immersive colony simulator, this is the game to play. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, I know they're out of order, the reboot Tomb Raider trilogy, but I think Rise was my favorite. Like, we can go over these now actually. So Tomb Raider, the original reboot, it's been a long time since I've played these, man. It was back on the Xbox One when I played these, but I liked Tomb Raider. I remember it was gritty. Laura herself was a pretty interesting character. The gunplay was satisfying. I liked the climbing because, I mean, I was an Uncharted kid, so you give me climbing, I like it. And I remember Rise of the Tomb Raider. I liked the setting more of Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I don't know, it's such a nebulous area in my mind. I don't remember much about it, but I remember loving it. So 4.5. I can't give much more than that. I do want to replay these because Shadow I have played, but only like an hour or two. It's on the backlog. All three of these are kind of on the backlog. Yeah, I've never played the definitive edition, whatever is included in that. But this is a great trilogy, and I'm glad it had a reboot, because I did play a Tomb Raider game when I was a kid, Tomb Raider Anniversary, which I think is just a remaster of the first one, maybe. But I'm glad this got introduced to a new audience, because, you know, Lara is just one of those characters in gaming history that's so important, it's so revered. Okay. Risk of Rain 2, this game rocks. The only reason it's not a 5 is because I don't think I have played enough of it. I played this a lot on the plane to and from Japan. I played this almost exclusively, and I played a bit of it in Japan, but had a lot of fun with it. I never actually beat it, but I got pretty far. But yeah, it's just a super, super fun roguelike. And I'm not a huge fan of roguelikes, so this should speak for itself. Rocket League. Now look, objectively, is Rocket League a 5? Maybe. But this is more of a subjective 5 out of 5. This was my multiplayer game. Senior year of high school into freshman year of college, 2018 to 2019. I was good at this game in 2019. Like, I got to champion, which at the time there was champion 1, 2, and 3, and then grand champion. Now I think there's 2 extra tiers above that, and I'm probably a platinum player now. If that's even the correct. There's gold, and then there's, I know there's diamond, but I think it's platinum right below it. That's probably where I am now. But dude, this game is so much fun. It is a hard game to master, and you can have fun with it if you just play it for the first time, but you're always gonna feel like you're missing out on something. But like me, back in 2019, I could do stuff off the wall. I could never go off the roof, and that's commonplace now. In gold, they're doing that shit, but super, super fun esport to watch as well. And the trading scene was really cool in this game. Trading for car pieces and car decals and wheel decals was so much fun. I remember the Zombas were like the most sought after wheel at the time, and I had a pair, just trading my way up. There was these YouTube videos of people just like trading from nothing to Zombas. Awesome game. Great game. Rollerdrome, this is an unfair rating. I played maybe an hour of this, maybe. But what it tries to do is it tries to be, and this is free, this was free on PlayStation Plus, so I do still have it. But it tries to be Tony Hawk and, I don't know, Max Payne? I guess. Tony Hawk with guns and slowdown is what it is, but with roller skates. It's fun for a little bit, but dude, after an hour, I'm like, I don't ever have to play this again. No shot. You could not see that. You could not see that. Tony Hawk, guns, roller skates, Max Payne slow motion. You could not, like, but that is what the game is. So try it out if you want. Look it up. The Room. This is classic, a classic. Even if you had a iPod Touch back in the day, Escape the Room. Like an escape room thing where there's puzzles all over the place and you're trying to unlock the treasure within. And there's like a key there and you leave the room. Awesome, awesome puzzle game. There's nothing really wrong with it, I don't think. Maybe it's a little, what would you say? Not complicated, but you could be stuck for a while and not have any idea as to where to go next. But still, awesome puzzle game. And there is a VR version. I'm not in a rush. Speaking of VR, Rumble. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender, if you're an Earthbender, the simulator. It's cool, and it is a workout. This game is a workout, because you're just moving your arms the whole time. You do certain movements with your arms, like very particular movements. You have to be very precise. And it does certain things, like one will spawn a pillar, and you do another movement, and it lifts it into the air, and you punch it to make it go and hit your enemy. You can spawn bigger columns. You can throw boulders, and you have to make a boulder first, and then you throw it. You can do a movement that makes you jump into the air. Like, it's a really, really cool VR fighting game. And it looks lame in real. I'm sure it looks lame when you watch it. Like, watch someone else play it. But dude, playing it yourself, this game rocks. Like, the only reason it's not higher is because it's a simple concept. You can't go too far with it. But with what it does, it nailed it. So Rise, Son of Rome. This is a launch title with the Xbox One. Criminally underrated game. I don't know if it's a 5-star, but the game looks fantastic. And sure, it is a little annoying that the combat kind of plays itself, because it's all quick time events for the most part. Or no, it didn't show you the button, but it showed you the color in some way. I forgot how. I remember having a ton of fun with this. Like, when I got the Xbox One, I got all 3 launch games. We were moving up at that point in our life, but man, Rise was so much fun. That, on top of Dead Rising 3, on top of Forza Motorsport 5, that was a fantastic time. Yeah, I love this game. I think it's criminally underrated. I don't know, why would someone give it a low score? Well, that's unfortunate. He got all the achievements and gave it a 2? Hold on. Why do people not like this game? Violence and huge battles to carry it through. This works for a little while, but an unmemorable story paired with lower end graphics. Lower end? This was cutting edge at the time, dude. I had fun for a bit. No, this game rocks. Sable. It's pretty. You know, Sable's pretty. Hey, check it out. Look at this guy. So I wonder if it actually, yeah, that's what I thought. This is what Sable looks like. Played maybe 30 minutes of it. Looks really, really cool. I'll give it that. But this is the game. You know? Like, you don't do much more than this. And this is, I played most of my playthrough. I didn't have a vehicle. I was just walking around. I forgot the point of the game. So this kind of shit does it for you. Check it out. And like, it's like, what would you call this? Yeah, she runs at 20 frames or something like that. Or she's rendered at 20 frames, however that works. She's animated at 20 frames, probably the correct way to say it. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Got this early with the PlayStation 5. I have a good story on how I got the PS5, but it'd take a while. But I got it about 6 months after release, when it was just impossible to get one. I got it from a coworker who said he would sell it to me for $800. And I'm like, no, I'll do it for $550. He's like, okay, sure. So, you know, part of the deal. But Sackboy was one of the first games I played. I did not like it. Way too simple platformer. I was bored maybe 2 hours in and just gave it up. Saints Row. I've only played 3 and 4. I love Saints Row the Third. This was 2018. I played this. I was senior in high school. I remember that. I really want to play Saints Row 1 and 2. But dude, I love this game. It's wacky. It definitely has like millennial humor, but it does have its moments. It's a pretty funny game. It's also just fun to play. The weapons feel very good. The cars are cool. Customizing your cars was so awesome in this game. The story was, I forgot it, but yeah, awesome game. Super fun co-op as well. And then Saints Row 4 comes along, and it adds, like, it tries to go way too over the top. There's like aliens and you have superpowers, and the superpowers just mess everything up. That I thought, what's Saints Row Undercover? Canceled adaptation on PSP. It's unfortunate. But yeah, the superpowers mess everything up because it's more efficient to just run everywhere and jump everywhere instead of getting a car and decking a car out. There's no reason to deck a car out or go for a helicopter or the what was it? It was the jet, the fighter jet that could turn into a hover jet. Like, there was no reason to go for any of that stuff anymore because you're just more efficient using your superpowers, and it made combat really easy. So I did not enjoy Saints Row 4. It was like a worse version of Crackdown almost. Sirento VR. This is how would you describe it? It's a fast-paced first-person shooter where in your right hand you have a gun, left hand you have a katana. The control scheme is a little weird in this game. You can't just move with the left stick. You have to jump to where you want to go. Game heaven. That's pretty cool. But I mean, it's okay. Again, this is 2018. This is really early. This is pre Half-Life Alyx. So it's whatever. Scarlet Nexus, rented this on PS5 from the place I worked at. I remember the combat being pretty fun for a while. The story I don't remember at all. I remember this game having an awesome soundtrack. This game has a sick soundtrack. Hey, this dude's played it. 3.5. I give it a 3. Fair enough. Shout out to you, by the way. So Scarlet Nexus, I didn't finish it. I got maybe 35% of the way through with it. But yeah, that's about it. Will I come back to it? Probably not. But this got like a whole anime along with it. I think this was supposed to be a big game for Bandai, and I don't think it panned out that way. This was also an Xbox exclusive for a while, and then it eventually turned into, no, it's coming out with PlayStation as well. Oh, dude, I played Scorn last semester. This game is so cool, dude. Working your way through it piece by piece, dude, this game's like 5 hours long. It's a short video game, but there is no game with an art style like Scorn. In terms of like art direction and a cohesive vision, there is nothing like Scorn. I think it's in a tier of its own because it's so realized, this vision. And this is just the first area, which is where you see most of the stuff. Dude, the final area is super, super cool, where it's like, this area. And it's like, oh, wait, this is like a civilization that had its own religion. Now, its religion is pretty sexual in nature, which is like, whatever. I think these people are European who made this. But yeah, H.R. Geiger, heavily inspired. But yeah, super, super cool game. Yeah, fantastic. Some of the best art direction in video games. Sekiro. Sekiro has my, wow, that's really high. This has my favorite, well, check that out. This has my favorite gameplay. I shouldn't say that. My favorite combat of any From Software Souls-like game. Of any Souls-like, it's Nioh 2, but Sekiro is first when it comes to From Software. This is a rhythm game boiled down to it, and people kind of shove this game to the side at first because it's hard, they say, but you really have to let yourself and just give into how this game wants you to play. You should not be dodging a lot. You should not be pressing B. I mean, you have to jump sometimes for sweep attacks, but at the end of the day, you need to parry every attack they throw at you. You should be dodging away. It is a rhythm game. And when it clicks and you're just in this zen state of never being hit, parrying everything, there is nothing like it. There is no game that does it better than Sekiro. Just the zen state. I am in your face and you cannot hit me. I'm parrying everything. It's an awesome feeling. So, yeah, again, I think this is From Software's second best game, right behind Elden Ring. A top 100 for sure, probably top 70, 80 game for me. Severed Steel, gave it a 3. Probably not fair. I didn't play a ton of this game, although I think I'm a third of the way through it. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, this looks kind of cool, or maybe you don't think that, but super fast-paced first-person shooter where you can do flips and there's time slowing, you can dive, and you have free range of motion when you aim. I don't know, it does feel very smooth, but you know, after I think it was about an hour and a half, I was like, okay, is this the game, everything the game has? And like that right there, you're constantly at awkward angles when you're doing these, if you want to, like, it's a little trippy, but it's fun when this happens. But again, an hour in, I'm like, okay, is this all the game has to offer? And it kind of is. Like, the game peaks and then that's it. It doesn't add anything else. So I give it a 3, maybe a 3.5. I should beat it. I've not beaten it. I should go back and beat it, because again, it is short. I was probably a third of the way through the game after an hour and a half. Okay, Shadow of the Colossus. I gotta bump this up to a 5. I don't know why it was at a 4.5. I played the original PS2 release. Did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just didn't play it on my CRT. Before I had a CRT. So, if you don't know about it, you should. You're just fighting bosses the whole time. This is all this game is fighting bosses, and the bosses themselves are the level in a lot of cases. Sometimes they aren't, but most of the time they are. And this game just handles scale so well, and it's so much fun figuring out how to get on the boss. Because half the bosses, like, the hard part is getting onto them, and not just, oh, I can get onto them right now, where's their weak spot? But my favorite is the sand boss, the super long one that flies in the air and comes down. You have to jump off your horse. I've seen footage of the remake. I don't know. It didn't, because it just didn't feel the same, like, visually. I think the original was better. Now, I'll say you might as well play it on the PS3. It's in HD. It's the same game, but it's just like higher textures, better resolution, stuff like that. Wow, same rating. What does this have? 4.2. But no, this game's incredible. This is a game I would like for everyone to play, but you kind of have no excuse to, even if it has to be the remake. Because the PS2 one, the frame rate does tank pretty hard. Again, that's why I recommend the PS3 version. But fantastic game. One of the best of all time. Shadows of Doubt, I'm actually playing right now. I've actually started it 2 days ago. Put about 5 hours into it, I think. This game's really cool. I like it a lot so far. I think right now I'd give it a 4 or 4.5. It is a procedural detective game where, again, everything's procedural, but everything works and it all connects. You'll get a murder call and it's like, okay, it's at this building, it's at this apartment room, but you are not a policeman, I don't think. You're a private eye. So you can't go into the apartment room or wherever the murder took place. So you have to sneak into the room first, which is a chore of itself. But I'll tell you about the last case I solved, and cases can take a long time. The first one I got took 2.5 hours, and that's partly on me. because I knew who the killer was, but it took forever to actually find them. But yeah, a dude was murdered in his he was murdered in his apartment. Turns out he's the president of some company. And so it's like, okay, what do I go from here? And there's a calling card left, so I got a fingerprint scanner, and I know the person's fingerprints. It's fingerprint D is how the fingerprints are labeled. Fingerprint D. So I'm like, okay, I have to find the person with fingerprint D. If I find a person with fingerprint D, I know that they were at the crime scene and they left the calling card. But that's all I had. So how the hell do you solve a murder mystery from there? So I went to his phone. I checked his call logs. The most recent call came from a certain number. It was his neighbor. I asked his neighbor about anything, and I asked if I could come in. She said sure. Checked all their fingerprints. It wasn't them. And she had a roommate. And then I forgot. Oh yeah, I thought, okay, let me go to his office. After way too long of just trying to figure other things out, I'm like, let me just go to his place of work because he's the president. Broke into his place of work through air ducts. Found fingerprint D. Just going through fingerprints, like 8 people who work here, and I found her fingerprints, and it was at a locker. It was at the employees' lockers. I did all their fingerprints, and hers was the only one. It was J. Denise or something was the name of the locker. So I'm like, okay, that's her. She was here. I had to figure out who that is. So I broke into the dude's main office and I went through the employee records, and I found J. Denise. Okay, I know her. Her address isn't on there. So I have to go to City Hall and then look up this person and her address, and then I get 401 whatever, Rose Drive. Like, okay, she's at 401. Go there, knock on the door. Someone answers. It's not her. It's her roommate. Like, well, where is she? She's like, oh, she's back at work. I'm like, what? Then I go back to the place of work, and she's just sitting there at the reception desk. It was the receptionist. So I'm like, look, you're under arrest. And then I arrested her. Turns out when she was not at work, she went and killed someone else. There was another murder that came up. And I didn't know that until later. I went to the new murder place. Turns out her fingerprints were there too. I'd already arrested her. So I'm like, crap, I was too late. Because she went and murdered someone else, but my social credit still went up. So, but again, stuff like that happens. It's a true immersive sim. I could have broken into the CCTV footage for that apartment if I wanted to and check the CCTV. Now I tried that, I couldn't find it. But I could have asked a neighbor if they saw anything. Turns out they didn't this time, but next time they may, and they may alter what you do next. This game is so sick. 4.5, maybe 5. This game rocks. I will be playing more of it. So yeah, it's a cool game. And there are times where I act like I'm smoking a cigarette when I'm going up an elevator. Just puts you in that mood. Shadow Warrior. Have I played the original? Well, not the original, but I guess I haven't. This one? I have played this. I couldn't tell you a thing about it though. So Shadow Warrior 2, is this the worst reviewed one? Yeah, it is. Makes sense. Gameplay is great in the Shadow Warrior games. But 2, I was going for all the achievements. I'm missing 1 achievement in Shadow Warrior 2. And this game's mission based, and it's because this last achievement, let me do the achievement. The last achievement required you to do every single side thing, like any kind of in-game achievements as well. And there was just so many, and I was never going to do it. But the game's fun. I can't remember much of Shadow Warrior 2. I can't. I gave it a 3.5. I think that's fair. The gameplay, I remember the gameplay being fun. So the story's non-existent in all these games. You know what? I'll just stick it there. 3.5 seems fine with me. Half a credit above everyone else. Shadow Warrior 3, I have more recollection of. It is better than 2. This is post Doom. I think this is 2. It is not. Yeah, this is post Doom. So this game tries to be a Doom clone a lot more so than Shadow Warrior 2. There's a grappling hook. I think this grappling hook is better than Doom Eternal though. But yeah, this is a lot more structured. I remember it's like a standard campaign. There's like 14 missions or something. A short game, but again, a fun first-person shooter, Doom clone. Can't go wrong. Oh, dude, Shank 1 and 2. So in case you don't know about Shank 1 and 2, what do these have? 3 and 3. Wow. These are arcade games. I don't think these ever got a physical release. Um they are, I'll show footage of it since people may not know what it is. And if you do, you're a real one. That's not gonna get me. Oh, no, wait. YouTube knows. But yeah, just a standard, like, oh, this dude's a badass. Side-scrolling, beat 'em up. But I remember this game does have some pretty cool combat mechanics where you can switch between your guns and your melee weapons mid-combo, and at least some pretty cool combos. The game's heavily stylized. The full game, this dude beat it an hour and 43, but this was like an Xbox Live Arcade. This is an arcade game, essentially. Again, no physical release. And then Shank 2 is more of the same, I remember. Twice the Shank, some say. Still an hour 45, maybe not. But yeah, these games, I remember these games rocking. So, can't speak, again, it's been over a decade since I've played these, for sure. But they're really cool. Shantae and the Half Genie Hero is the only Shantae game I've played. 3.5, I expected more. Shantae fans seem a little, let's just say, lost. But beat this, got all the achievements in it. It's fine. It's a 2D platformer, you know. A lot of them kind of blend together, unless they're really distinctive, which this one's not. So it's a 2D platformer. Yeah. Okay, SMT. So I've played 3, 4, and 5. I've not beaten 5. I've beaten 3 and 4. The reason I did, let's do 5 first, since I've not beaten it. The reason I've not beaten 5 is because it runs so bad on the Switch. It runs horribly on the Switch. I could not take it. I got 10 hours in. This is after beating 3 and 4. I wanted to play this game. I have the Steelbook version. I have the collector's edition still sealed. Now I got the collector's edition much later. But I was hyped for this game. I was so excited. And then I just gave up because it runs so bad. And I know what you're thinking, Kendall. What about SMT Vengeance? I got it for Christmas. It's my brother got this for me for Christmas. So I now have it, because I was never going to buy this for full price. Granted, it was probably $20 when he got it, but I bet, yeah, you'll see how much better it is. Because I bet most of these reviews are like, oh my god, it runs fucking awful. Gameplay's good, story's not. Played on another platform. Whatever. But yeah, I will play Vengeance. I have it on PS5. I'm very excited to go back to it, but I need to beat Metaphor first before I do SMT5. Now, 3 is the first one I played, and it's the first SMT game I beat. For me, it was 3, 4, and then Persona 5. Those are the only SMT games I've beaten, I'm pretty sure. I own a decent amount of them. Like, which ones would I want to play? I have Strange Journey Redux on 3DS. I've actually played, is it on here? Digital Devil Story? Well, no, I have Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. There's a couple more SMT games I have, but SMT 3 is so good. This game is so good. The combat flow in this game just works. Like, sure, you'll get destroyed out of nowhere, but those are very rare instances, and the vibe of this game, the atmosphere is fantastic. This game makes you feel alone. Like, the world has already ended in SMT3, and you're trying to, I don't know, make sense of what's left, really. And there's 3 people fighting for what should be left. Man, it was so much fun. I played this on PS2 on a flat screen TV. It looked like shit, but this is the first PS2 game I beat since getting back into retro gaming around 2020. So, or at least console retro gaming. It was this and then Silent Hill 2, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, awesome game. I would recommend it. I don't know how it's different from the remaster, I assume the remaster is perfectly fine. Does it have... No, it doesn't. There's like a special Japanese version of this that I also happen to have. SMT4, again, why would this not be a 5? I don't know, some of the dungeons are pretty lame, but that's every JRPG. This could be a 5. SMT4 is on the 3DS. I loved this game. The beginning is pretty tough. It's a really high difficulty at the beginning, but once you get, you know, decent personas, or decent demons, I should say, the story is fantastic. The characters rock in this game. The soundtrack is really good. SMT4 Apocalypse has one of my favorite boss themes in all of gaming. To become God's enemy, I think is what it's called. But yeah, SMT, you can't go wrong with SMT. The main line, at least. 3, 4, and 5. I haven't played 1 and 2, obviously, but these are great JRPGs. Highly recommend. This one took me maybe 30 hours to beat. Same with SMT3. I don't remember. That could be way off. I don't remember, but I played it on a modded 3DS, and oh my god, I really want the long box version of this physically. It looks so good. But yeah, awesome JRPGs. Shovel Knight. I'll just go over the treasure trove. This has like, yeah, it has all the DLCs included. So the original Shovel Knight is fantastic. I had a lot of fun with it. I liked Plague Seeker as well. Plague Seeker was really fun, or Plague of Shadows, not Plague Seeker. So yeah, there's the original Shovel Knight. There's, Plague of Shadows. You play as the witch doctor or whatever. And then there's Spectre of Torment, which was my favorite. This was my favorite DLC. I think his levels were the best, or I should say his version of the levels were best. And that's pretty remote, I guess, those thoughts. Like, it's been a long time since I've played this, but this is a fantastic side scroller. And I had some friends who played this game co-op, and they had a ton of fun. One of their favorite co-op games. So highly recommend Shovel Knight. Oh, what do y'all know about Shrek 2? This is a childhood game. I've not played it since. I remember this game actually being really, really good. Again, it's been forever. This is a 4-player game. You can play this in 4-player. This actually may be a good game to play with some of my friends. I'll think about that. But it varies its gameplay a little bit. You'll be doing like you'll drive the onion mobile, whatever it's called. I forgot the carriage. You'll be singing sometimes. Puss in Boots Duel at one point is a different gameplay mechanic. And, you know, overall, just a fun game. I remember loving this as a kid, but I haven't played it since. Civ. Civ 5 was my first one. My uncle got me into Civ 5, or maybe it was Civ 4. Let me take a look. Jesus Christ. That wasn't it. Okay, it must have been Civ 5. Yeah, Civ, I've not played much of 6, but from what I remember, it was just more of 5. But 5 I definitely played the most of. I played this a lot. This must have been 2013 I played this. Yeah, that sounds about right. I played it on my dad's computer most of the time. But awesome strategy games. Love Civ 5. Civ 6, again, I didn't play much of it, but I have no inclination. I have no reason to go back to it. Oh my god. Why is this a 4.5? Sifu. It's close. It's close. It's either a 4.5 or a 5. It's just really short. It is really short. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Fine. 4.5. But Sifu has some of my favorite combat in any game. It's tough and it'll beat your ass when you start out, but once you get it down and you start using the moves that you unlock permanently, because this is a roguelike, first and foremost, essentially a roguelike, but it is technically a roguelite because you can keep moves unlocked permanently. But I remember when I first played this, it took me a while to beat it, to get a full run complete. But when I went back and got all the trophies for this game on a second playthrough, I breezed through this game. Like, once you've got this game, kind of the same thing with Sekiro. Sekiro, my first run through, took me a little bit of time, but then I beat it 7 or 8 more times really, really quickly. And I beat it this last summer in Japan after years of not playing it, and just breezed through it. Like, once you get this game, it kind of sticks with you. The third boss is still the hardest. Or no, I should not say that. The final boss is 100% the hardest. But the third boss is definitely the second hardest. Awesome game. Signalis. This is modern Resident Evil in space, but there's more existentialism. This game is really, really good, except for its final area. Its final area has a huge difficulty spike. Like, really unjustified difficulty spike. But honestly, yeah, you know what? I'll raise it to a 4 or 5. This game rocks. Again, if that final area was not so bad, I would consider a 5 out of 5. Probably wouldn't get it, but it'd be close. It's close to a 4.5. But this game is dark as shit. You can't really see where you're going half the game. Maybe I should turn my brightness up. But the combat works. The game's horror is pretty effective, but I love the ending to this game. I'm not going to spoil it, of course, but fantastic game. Okay, Silent Hills. I said we'd talk about this. I actually just beat Silent Hill 1. My brother has a copy on PlayStation 1, which this game goes for $160, $180, and he has a copy. He works at the same video game store that I worked at, and he's making money. So he bought all the Silent Hills. So I borrowed it from him. He has it back now. This game was pretty good. I think, again, similar to Silent Hill 2, it does peak early, in my opinion. I don't like the sections where it switches into the nightmare land. I don't think anyone likes those. But the story is fine in Silent Hill 1. That's the biggest upgrade Silent Hill 2 made. But combat's pretty fun. It's effective, I should say. But I love the vibe this game gives off. I think every Silent Hill probably gives off a pretty good vibe. So, yeah, I mean, I just played it. I got the bad ending because I could have gotten the good one. And this has one of the worst endings in all of video games. The bad ending of Silent Hill 1 sucks. It's just, I'm not going to spoil it. You can look it up. It's pretty funny. But the good ending requires you to get something out of a wheel of a motorcycle in a garage. I remember going to that garage, and it doesn't tell you this. You just have to have done it. I remember going to the garage, mashing the interact button all around that motorcycle because it looked like you could interact with it. You could, and I didn't get any prompt. So I should have gotten the good ending. But that's besides the point. There's an even better ending, but you're never going to get that on your first playthrough. You have to do something really, really particular. But still a fun game. I'm glad I played it. So 7 is perfectly fine. Silent Hill 2, dude. Played this again. This is probably the second game I beat on PS2 in 2020. And I did not play this bitch made. No, sir. This was 12 a.m. to like 4 a.m. every day for 3 or 4 days. And I'll say, I said it earlier a couple minutes ago. This game peaks early. The abandoned apartments was my favorite part of this game. I thought it was so effective in its scares because you're so weak at that point and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what any of the enemies look like. I went into this game knowing nothing except Pyramid Head. Everyone knows Pyramid Head. But besides that, I knew nothing. And that's how you should go into this game. But again, what took me by surprise and what made this a 5-star game instead of like a 4-star game or a 4.5 was its story. Oh my god, this game comes together masterfully in the end. And you're like, gee, I don't know, I'm not gonna say, you get up off your chair, you point to the screen. It's like, that is awesome. But no, incredible conclusion in this game. One of the best endings of all time for sure. Now it's no Metal Gear Solid 3, but the horror is good. The combat, I don't remember much of the combat. You don't play this game for the combat, which, okay, let me divert into this. Silent Hill 2, fantastic game. One of the best survival horror games of all time. If you have played Silent Hill 2 Remake and you claim to have played Silent Hill 2, you're mistaken. I've not played Silent Hill 2, but I've seen many, many videos on Silent Hill 2 Remake versus the original. Because this is an important game, Silent Hill 2. It's a super important game. And people who are huge fans of the franchise are mixed when it comes to Silent Hill 2. It's not universal, because there is so much more combat in Silent Hill 2. And apparently you're a lot stronger, which again gets rid of a lot of the horror. I'm sure this game is great in the beginning when you have nothing, or maybe it's not, because okay, I'll say this and I'll go next, because I've not played the game again, but this kind of opened my eyes to the opinion that these are two different games. Someone did a playthrough of Silent Hill 2, and then they did a playthrough of Silent Hill 2 Remake. He killed, I think, 7 or 8 times as many enemies in the remake as he did in the original on a standard playthrough. This game has so much combat in it, and it feels, I from what I see, it tries to do like a Alan Wake 2 kind of thing where, you know, there's a lot of dodging. There's no dodging in the original Silent Hill. It's a lot of dodging attacks and shooting or hitting after a dodge. And people critique Callisto Protocol for that kind of playthrough, for that kind of gameplay, because Callisto Protocol does the exact same thing. It's a very just dodge every attack, shoot the weak spot. I think it works in Callisto Protocol. I'm sure it works in here, but that's not Silent Hill 2. Like, let's not get it twisted. So I wish people had the same kind of criticism for Silent Hill 2 as they did Callisto Protocol. And people were saying this should have won Game of the Year, been like a nominee. Dude, quit out with all that. Quit out with all that. Okay, that's the Silent Hill 2 Remake tirade. Play the original. Okay, Simpsons. Did I get rid of a game? I did. Is that gonna matter? Yeah, I'll do Skate 3 last. I gotta talk about Skate 3. Simpsons game. Had this on PS2 as a kid. I remember loving it a lot. Damn, we're already at an hour. Almost an hour. I remember this being a really fun, pretty funny, just third-person platformer. Like, there's some combat, but I like this game because it changes up the locations a lot. Every level is I remember one, you're a knight in medieval times, and there's one just in the city. Then this one's probably, I don't know, like at Candyland or something. I don't know, but I remember this being a pretty fun game. I've not played the PS3 360 version. I've played the PS2 version, so just do it some other time. Hit and Run. I'm not big on Hit and Run, and I'm proud to see, I'm glad to see that everyone has kind of done the same. This game kind of gets glazed a lot. It's fine. It is a totally fine game. But, and like, sure, like the mission variety is okay. I don't know. It did not do it for me. Maybe I'll give it another try sometime. I think I do own this game on GameCube. Maybe, I don't know. But again, not my cup of tea. Okay, Skate 2 and Skate 3. Dude. Skate 2, I played so much Skate 2 on PS3. It's not even funny how much I played this game. Because this was the original PS3 we had. And yeah, I mean, so much fun. I think the city is so cool. I remember the skate park down by the beach was so cool in this game. The mega park was awesome, of course. That's before the Skate 3 mega park. You know, some of you kiddies won't get it. But yeah, again, Skate 2, awesome game. You can get off your board. in Skate 2. You cannot do that in the first Skate. You have to stay on your board, but that offered so many more opportunities to do more creative stuff. And in Skate 3, I played this game first at my friend's house. He had it on 360, and we played this game for probably 5 hours straight, just handing the controller back and forth every now and then. And like, I have to get this game, and it took years for me to get this game again and play it. But man, once I did, I got all the I have all the single player achievements. This is still a game I will play on my Series X. I'll just load it up because it has quick resume, which is super awesome. That's one Xbox feature that, you know, they have it over PlayStation. They have it. The quick resume feature rocks. And it's just, it saves your state in like 6 different games if you want to, as long as they have quick resume. The most I've seen it once is 4. I assume it's probably 5, but yeah, I'll just load this up and play it for like, 30 minutes, an hour, then go to sleep or something. Fantastic game. The controls are so smooth. Everything works. There's awesome glitches in Skate 3 and 2. I remember in Skate 2, there was the one that just sent you flying, and this one has it too, but I did it a lot more in Skate 2. I think it was more consistent. But yeah, the Create a Park is so nice in Skate 3. The Mega Park, of course, iconic. Hall of Meat challenges. 2 fantastic games, dude. But yeah, Skate 3, probably a top 100 game for me. Top 70, top 50, I don't know, maybe. But top 50, top 70 game for me all time. Okay, we are on to the S's. Oh, we end with Stranglehold. What do you think about Stranglehold? Okay, man, we got some good games here. We got some really good games here. Oh god. Okay. Okay. Next episode. See y'all next one.